What is going on, everybody? I'm live. We're doing our first live stream of 2021. I am pumped. Not just that, but the weather today is just absolutely fantastic. I wish you were here in Vancouver and you could look out the window. If this is the first time you're catching my live stream, what I'm going to be doing every single week, I was inspired by Stefan Liu to do this. I'm going to do a Q&A style live stream about coaching business, how to start your coaching business, or if you already have a coaching business, how to get it off the ground. We're also going to be talking about marketing and sales stuff. That's kind of what I'm most passionate about because I used to be terrible at sales and I didn't know how to have those sales conversations. And just in general, to ask any questions that you have about your coaching business. Now, you might see on here, I've got a little screen share thing going on because a lot of people are like, why the hell do we listen to you? Who are you to tell us who you are? A quick background about me. I used to be a full-time recruiter, and then I turned into a career coach. And I was very successful at doing that. And eventually I realized that my real passion lied in helping others realize their true potential, helping them understand that they can raise their prices. And then I show people how to start their own business successfully. So the reason I have this screen up here is just to show you proof that I'm not actually making this stuff up. I've helped tons and tons of clients in the past. So I'll show you real quick here. These are just some of the results that I've gotten from my clients working in my academy, right? So I work with both coaches who are just starting their business and coaches who already have a business. So you can see people starting with $500 services, they move up to a $1,500 service, and then people getting sales calls booked up and sales, everything is closing. So you can see how most of my clients, well, not most, just about all of my clients are making money off of what I'm teaching them. So it's not like I'm making this stuff up. I kind of know what I'm talking about. I've got a lot of experience. You can also go into my LinkedIn featured section and you can just kind of go through my entire wall of testimonials and the client results I've gotten, right? Just a quick overview of what I do, because I wanted to make sure that if you're listening to me, you're like, okay, who is this guy? Is he another LinkedIn guru? Is he another Tai Lopez? Is he another one of those people with Lamborghinis? I can tell you I don't have a Lamborghini because I can't drive. Maybe one day I'll have one. So my idea here is this. Every single week, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to talk about something related to coaching, starting your coaching business or sales. The idea is to give you the inspiration, maybe the instructions, maybe the inspiration you might need to finally start your business, to finally believe in yourself enough to grow your business, because I know a lot of coaches have had their business for a long time, but has been on the back burner, right? It's this way of making side income. So they'll make a couple of $100 here and there, but no real income coming in. They're not making full-time income, which is what I do, which is what I teach coaches to do. If I wasn't making a full-time income coaching, I would be out of a job and I'd be relying on unemployment benefits, which I'm not. I'm thankfully doing well. So this is exactly what I teach people to do. I've had some questions come in. I'm going to address them, but I want to focus on the fundamentals. What I mean by fundamentals is a lot of people, when I tell them about coaching, and when I was starting my coaching business, I was doing research on a lot of other coaches and how it's going. 99% of those people were doing it either part-time or they weren't happy with the amount of income they were making. And they were telling me, listen, this whole coaching thing, there's not a lot of money in it. You can make, $500 off of a client, this, that. And they were very discouraging to me, right? Some of them were even coming down with an ego, like, hey, if I can't do it, you can't do it. You don't even think about it. Come back when you have 15 years of experience. So if you're feeling like you don't have enough experience or you don't know where to start, blah, 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 all that stuff, I've gone through it as well. A lot of the clients that I work with, they had that same experience. I want to share with you how I got started, and most importantly, the road to making my first $10,000. Because I feel like once you start making 10,000 or even 5,000 for a lot of people, they're like, if I can replace my monthly salary with this or even make half as much, that's showing me this is going somewhere. So I want to share my story with you and give you some more perspective. So let me just make sure this live stream is working, because the last thing I want to do is talk for a whole hour and find out no one's actually been able to hear me the whole time. Let me just see what's going on the chat. By the way, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, please leave a comment below so I know that you guys can hear me and you guys can see me just fine. All right, looks like we're good. We're good. All right, guys, fantastic. If you have a coaching business and you're watching this, let me know in the comment section what kind of coaching business you have. I'll bring up the comments and I'll get started. But here's the thing. So when I was starting, I was working as a recruiter, right? So I was working to help companies get employees for their business. And I realized that a lot of what I was doing on the inside, I could teach people on the outside who are looking for jobs. So I transitioned into, I'll actually show you guys here once again, just because I like giving you guys proof of this stuff, right? So people are often like, well, Yasir, if your career coaching thing was going so well, why are you doing business coaching now, right? I get that question a lot. And the simple answer to that is because I started my business thinking that I should fall back on my credentials. I should fall back on what I'm doing for a living, not what I'm really passionate about. What I'm really passionate about is helping people realize their value and showing them how to have those sales conversations, showing them how to demonstrate the value of their service to other people. So if you go to my playlist on YouTube, you can see I've got an entire playlist on career coaching, right? So how do you get a job from university? How do you get a job when you're starting out? I had a kick-ass beard back then too. Let me know if you want me to bring it back because I'm halfway there already. So you can see here, all salary negotiation, how to write a cover letter, how to write a resume. My entire feed was just about career coaching, right? And the reason I was focusing on this was because I was a recruiter and I felt, okay, this is kind of all you can do. This is all the credentials you have. But eventually I shifted to becoming a business coach. There's another reason I shifted. It was because when you are working with clients who are looking for a job, there's a lot of uncertainty in that process. So, people are nervous, people are anxious about not having a job, not being unemployed. And a lot of them are, there's a lot of anxiety in that process. And I'm someone who has a lot of anxiety in my day-to-day life, and it's very hard to pour from an empty cup. So I felt like the more clients I took on, the more anxiety I took on, because I'm the kind of person who really, really becomes empathetic with my clients. I can't go to sleep at night unless I know for a fact they're doing well. You can ask any of the clients in my coaching academy right now. I'll be like, hey, how's it going? How many sales did you make this month? How much money did you make? Are you happy where you are now, right? Sometimes they're like, yo, listen, man, I'm okay. Don't worry about it. But that's the kind of person I am, right? So I realized that I was taking up a lot of anxiety doing career coaching, and I was more passionate about sales and marketing, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to transition into that. So you can see some of my content. It started off with career coaching, and then I made a video about, okay, how do you become a career coach? And I did really well. And then I completely transitioned to helping coaches start their business and getting that off the ground, which has been what I've been doing for the past 5 months now. I feel I work with 24 coaches, so I kind of know what I'm talking about, right? And if you go again to my testimonial file, you can see that I've worked with coaches in both career space, in investment, in public speaking, guitar, you name it. I work with a whole variety of coaches. In fact, I'm working with a coach right now who just quit smoking. He was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and now he runs every single day in his 50s, and he wants to teach other people to do that. Phenomenal story. So we're working to get his business off the ground. Anyway, that's a little insight about how I started. So I started as a recruiter, went into the career coaching space, realized not really what I want to do. I'm really good at it, but not really what I want to do. I shifted into business coaching, and that's what I do now. More than happy to do it. And you can see the number of whiteboards in the background keeps increasing because I just keep putting things out there and I run out of space and I buy another one. I'm thinking of having another one up here. Anyway, that's a story for another time. So what I did was, after my career coaching business launched, a lot of those career coaches who I initially reached out to, they began reaching out to me, and they were like, listen, how did you pull this off? How did you actually get your business off the ground? How did you actually make enough to quit your job? Because in the middle of the pandemic, I actually quit my job because I was doing so well on my business, and I didn't see the point of spending 40 hours a week doing something I wasn't really into, as opposed to working part-time and making several times that income every single month, right? Which is why I decided to quit my job. So eventually, a lot of career coaches started reaching out to me, and they were like, how are you doing this? I helped some of them out. They got fantastic results, as you can see. And then they were like, listen, why don't you just help other coaches start their business? Why don't you help other people do that? Because I know so many people who struggle starting their business, who struggle raising their prices, who struggle with imposter syndrome. Why don't you just help them out with that? I said, that's exactly what I want to do. If you look at my master's degree, my entire master's degree was on social anxiety in a learning environment, right? And a lot of those things, imposter syndrome, not feeling good about yourself, not having enough confidence, it ties into entrepreneurship too. People are starting out, they don't feel comfortable. They're like, should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? So that's what I'm really passionate about. Anyway, So I launched my coaching academy in, I want to say, October or November. I'm not sure. Worked with 2 dozen coaches since I started doing this. Phenomenal results. If you want to look some of those people up, you can. You can look up Jess Smith on LinkedIn, one of my clients. You can look up Monica. She's a Latin American career coach. You can look her up. Sammy Walker Herrera. You can look her up. Tons and tons of people that I've worked with in the past that are making phenomenal waves in the industry. And I couldn't be happier about what I'm doing now, right? So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get people to realize it's easier than they think to start their business, and it's easier than they think to make their first $10,000. All right. So let me just get into the nitty gritty. I don't want to make this live stream too long. I don't want to bore you guys, but I want to give you something to work with. So when you're starting your business, you can realize how much money there really is in here. Because once you start getting that first stream of income and you're like, okay, this is actually going somewhere, I can actually make a full-time income with this. I'm going to give this more attention. So here's the thing. A lot of coaches, including myself, when you start out, you focus on, or I focus on, a lot of small time wins or a lot of small time gains. So for example, it'll be like, hey, I have a $300 course, or I've got a $200 course or something like that, right? And I want to sell that $200 course, or I've got a $200 an hour service. I want to sell that $200 an hour service. And then we focus so much time and attention on selling something that's so cheap, and the amount of time that it takes to sell a $200 product is just not worth it. So another thing I can give you an example of, a lot of coaches who start off, they start with hourly pricing. And if you've seen any of my live streams, you know how much I hate I hate hourly pricing. The reason I hate hourly pricing is because you are charging people for the time you put in and not the result. So if you look at, I think 99% of career coaches or fitness coaches, you go to their website, you'll see, oh, I'm $100 an hour, I'm $200 an hour. Why do I hate this model? Think about it like this. Suppose someone like myself, I'm a business coach, right? And someone comes to me and they say, hey, I'm losing $10,000 in my business every single month. I have all these leaks and all that. I don't know what's going on, right? How much do you charge an hour? And I say, well, I charge $200 an hour. I come in, I spend 2 hours, I realize all the mistakes they're making in their business. I tell them how to fix it for 2 hours, maybe. I make $400, and every single month they're saving $10,000 in their business. Over a year, that's what, $120,000. So out of $120,000 value that I created for them, I'm only capturing $400 of that. What kind of business, from the client's perspective, can you think of where someone can get that kind of return, where they invest $400 and they get $120,000 back? And I can give you that same example with career coaching, right? People are like, I will make your resume, I will do mock interviews, all of that stuff, and I'll do it for $100 an hour. They'll make $300 or $400 for their services, and the person they help, they'll go on to get a salary of $60,000, $80,000, $120,000. I was talking to a recruiter and a career coach who works at Google who did $50 an hour for someone and had 4 sessions with them, got paid $200, and found out that person got a salary of $195,000. What is that return? So if you are charging based on the amount of time you are putting in, you're missing out on the amount of value you create. So instead, analyze how much value am I creating for my clients, and then capture a percentage of that. 5%, 10%, depends on your industry. That's what I help my clients do, and it's called value-based pricing. The interesting thing is, different people will value things differently. Think about it like this. If I told you right now, we have this cup of water, okay? How much would you pay for a cup of water? And you might say, well, this thing is worth 25 cents or 50 cents. That's the value you're placing on it. But maybe someone goes for a 12-mile jog or something, right? And once they finish the 12-mile jog, there's Yasir holding a cup and say, hey, there's this cup of water. They'd be willing to pay significantly more because they value that cup of water in that time, in their circumstances, a lot more than that other person. This is called value-based pricing. You charge based on the value to the individual client. So as opposed to doing hourly pricing and pricing for your time, price for the transformation you create. Another coach I was working with, he's a fitness coach. He helps people lose a ton of weight. So for example, if someone's at let's say 300 pounds, and they want to get down to 200 pounds, right? And you think I'm going to charge them maybe $100 an hour, or maybe $1,000 for a 2-month package, or whatever, something like that. And I'm going to help them with their diet, with their workout. I'm going to help them lose weight. So you are thinking your time is worth, or your package is worth $1,000. But if you think of the end result, the transformation of losing 100 pounds, losing 50 pounds, how much is that transformation worth to your client? People would pay a lot more than $1,000 to lose weight, a lot more than 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. I can tell you that because I have worked with coaches who do that. So don't try to place a value on your client's problem. Let them tell you what is the value of what they are getting in return. Okay, this is called value-based pricing. We go super deep into it in my coaching academy. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is don't price for your time, price for the value you create. And that's the easiest way for you to make more income and sustain yourself. Now, people keep saying, well, why is it so important to make more income? I don't want to make more income. If you don't want to make more income, that's amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm not here to force you to make more money. I'm just here to show you that the value you create for your clients is worth significantly more than what you might think. If you're happy making the kind of money you're making, that's awesome. Another thing people say is, I don't like charging for my service, or I feel guilty about it. There's a spectrum that I find my clients or my prospective clients on, and it's called the business to charity spectrum. Okay. So some of them are more like on the business side of things. They're like, I want to make money with this. I want to help people with this, but I also want this to be a business. All right. I'm not doing this to help everyone for charity. There's some people who are like, I want to help as many people as possible, and I want to give, and they're completely on the charity side of things, and they're barely making any income. They're not getting the kinds of clients they want to work with because they're so cheap, and clients come to them because they're either free or they're cheap, not because they're valuable and they like their service or they like what they offer. So when I'm working with clients, one of the main things I tell them is, listen, if you and I work together, we want to make sure we're on that business side of things. We're not trying to run a charity here. If you want to do free things, create free content on YouTube, create free things on LinkedIn, if that's what you want to do, but we are trying to create a business, okay? Establish that. Once we've established we need a coaching business, we don't want to focus on $100 an hour, $200 an hour, $300 an hour. The reason we don't want to do this is because it will take you the same amount of time to find someone who pays you $300 as opposed to someone who pays you $3,000. And I can tell you this because I've done this myself, and I've done this with tons and tons of clients that I've worked with. Again, check out my testimonial file because I'm not making this stuff up. I've seen this happen. So instead of finding how do I prepare a $400 package, $500, anything under $1,000, how do I prepare that package and find as many people to buy it? Instead, come up with a revenue goal. How much do I want to make? So for example, if your package is $500 right now and you want to make $5,000, right? Find out, if I want to make 5,000, how hard is it going to be for me to find 10 people to pay me 500 each? If you've done this before, if you try to find clients before, you know this is not easy. Finding clients is probably the hardest thing to do in this whole process, prospecting and all of that stuff, right? Instead, if you had a service that was 2,000 or 3,000 or 2,500, you need 2 clients a month. 2 clients a month. That means every 2 weeks, you need one person to say, yes, I want to work with you. And that way, you'll make your income, you'll work with significantly lesser people, and you'll have a lot more time on your hands to focus on your clients. Which one would you rather do? Would you rather get 2 clients at 2,500, or would you rather get 10 clients, work significantly higher, service significantly more people, work significantly higher to get more clients to the door to make that same amount of income? And if you're a logical person like me and you're a rational person, you know it makes a lot more sense to charge $2,500. Now, the question always comes up, who the hell is going to pay me $2,500? Who's going to pay me that much money? Now, we get into the whole pricing mentality, the whole limiting beliefs about money. I used to have this because I started my service as $50 an hour, then I went up to 100, then 500, now whereas it is now in the multiple 4 figures. You need to understand that not everyone feels about the coaching and the result you offer the way you do. If you keep thinking, I would never spend money on this, and you keep thinking everyone else thinks like that, you're missing out. Your limiting beliefs are stopping you. I'm telling you, there are people who would pay significantly more for your service than you think they would pay for your service, okay? So get that mindset out of your brain. The other thing is, you need to position yourself with people who have money. This is very important. When we're on that spectrum of charity of business, we're so focused on helping everyone and anyone we can help that we don't realize that we need to be focusing on people who value our service enough and who can afford our service. Like, life is too short for you to go out there and learn and search for people who have the money, who can afford your services. It's a lot easier to position yourself within a bracket, within a niche, who can. So I'll give you an example. One of the coaches that I'm working with, I was giving you an example of this earlier. She's a public speaking coach, right? So she started out working with fresh graduates. She's like, I'm going to help fresh graduates learn public speaking, get better at public speaking, blah, 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 blah. So she was finding, actually, I think I've got her example here as well. Let me just show it to you while I'm at it. Where is she at? There you go. So Maria, she's a public speaking coach. You can check her out on LinkedIn. Phenomenal. She had an amazing journey. She started at $500. We've got her up to significantly more than that, and her revenue has just completely shot up, right? So what happened with her was, she was working with a lot of students starting out. Now, students in general don't have a lot of buying power. They can't really afford a lot. They're not making their own buying decisions. They also have to ask their parents. So you can see how many barriers there are. And she had pigeonholed herself with young professionals, people who were just starting out, and they didn't have a lot of disposable income. So she talked to a lot of people, and they're like, no one can afford my service. My prices are too high. I should go down to 200. I should go down to 300. Now, no matter how good your product is, no matter how good your services are, if you are talking to the wrong people, you cannot generate revenue. So it's so important for you to talk to the right people who can afford your service, who have a significant financial backup to support their investment, right? So what we did with Maria is we said, instead of you talking to people who can afford your services, then you start second guessing your pricing. Why don't you position yourself with a niche who can afford your services? So instead, we switched her services from young professionals, from fresh graduates, to helping people in corporate settings, in professional settings, who wanted to voice themselves more in meetings, who wanted to get better at pitching in front of their colleagues, who wanted to get better at sales meetings. So now she targets people who are professional, who have jobs, who have income, who can afford public speaking, and her prices have gone from $500 to $1,500 to I don't even know what it is now, but it's just significantly increased. And the only thing that has changed are the people she's working with, and nothing else. Nothing else. So it was nothing more than a positioning issue, nothing more than a self-esteem issue, and talking to the right people. All right. So again, we're going way over time here. I want to keep this at 30 minutes. Some things to consider if you're starting your business, okay? Where are you on the charity and business spectrum? Do you want to make money with this? Do you just want to help people? Both of them are fine, but it depends on what your objective is. I help people make money with their coaching business, whether they're starting out with their business, whether they already have a business. One of the coaches I was working with, let me just show you her as well. And I hope you guys appreciate this transparency here, because I'm the kind of guy who's very skeptical, and I know a lot of people are skeptical as well. Let's see. So one of the coaches that I was working with, Monica here, Monica has 76,000 followers, right? And you think that, she's killing it or whatever, but she needed a lot of support. She was like, listen, I don't really have a lot of income coming in from my business. I don't really know what I'm doing with my business. So we had to work with her on her positioning too, right? We had to show her, listen, you need to be working with people who can afford your service, who are not coming to you for free advice. If you ever try to launch a business at a very cheap price, you know how many people will come to you and say, hey, can you do it for $50 an hour? Can you do it for free? And those people never follow your advice and never take action, and you feel like a crappy coach and all that stuff, right? By the way, if you want more detailed instructions, more detailed live streams, I've got a full mastermind group that I run on Facebook where we do weekly live sessions and I answer your individual questions. It's completely free. If you want access to it, just send me a DM or just leave a comment down below group, and I will send you an invite to that every single week. Let me just show you that as well while I'm at it. We do these live streams specifically for people who are starting their coaching business. They need some sort of support with their business. Let me see here. There we go. This is a mastermind group that I run. And just yesterday, I did a live stream answering people's questions. And you can see regularly we do live streams and I help people out. Hey, what do you want to see? Do you want to know more about starting your coaching business, finding more clients, packaging your service, whatever else it might be? And then I just make sure I'm catering those live streams specifically for you. Okay. Anyway, round things up. If you're starting your business right now, focus on the business side of things. If you do want to start a business, if that's what you want to do, focus on higher priced, higher value services and not lower price. It's going to take you the same amount of time to set up a high ticket offer and a low ticket offer. You don't want to be the LG and the Motorola of the industry. You want to be the Apple and the iPhone of the industry. You want to be the premium option. You want to be more expensive, so people would rather pay for a solution that gives them more value than pay for something cheap that doesn't really solve their problem. Cheap things will rarely help you out. They'll often have you spinning in circles, okay? So a higher price service, you be more on the business side of things and offer a value to your clients where they feel like $2,500 is a bargain. They feel like $3,000 is a bargain, right? So for example, in my case, a lot of clients, they come to me and they're like, well, Yasir, you're charging me thousands of dollars to start my business and make money. I want to see some sort of return. First of all, one of the things that I do with my clients, I make sure they make at least twice the amount they pay me for my service. And at the same time, I show them, listen, the first thing we'll do is make all your money back. So you stop thinking about the money side of things, and then we can scale your business. Then we can worry about how to actually grow and scale, get more clients through the door. So you're not worrying about how do I get money to the door right now, right? So I'm creating so much value for them. If you go to some of my client results again, one of the clients that I was working with, her issue was like, listen, I don't know if I can make the money back. Let me see if I can find her. So was it this one? I get lost in all my testimonials here. Got to forgive me. But there was one of my clients who had a really big issue with my pricing, right? She was like, hey, listen, I don't even know if I'm going to make money back. She made, I think, $16,000 within the first month of working in my program. I'm just trying to find that little thing for you here. It's probably somewhere in my testimonial file. I have to update it yet, but she joined the program and she was like, I'm really skeptical. I don't know if this is going to work. She made $16,000 in her first month. And she's like, I should have done this a long time ago. So people can see the value that they're getting out of it. So for you, if you're a career coach, what are they getting in return? If you help them out, are they going to get a job? Are they going to get one step closer to a job? If you are helping them with their fitness, are they going to get one step closer to their fitness goal? Are they going to feel better about themselves? What is the value that they place on your service? Okay. So running a business, not a charity, finding services that are high value and offering those high value services to them. And then also making sure you are positioning yourself with people, positioning yourself with an ideal niche that can afford your service. You don't want to lock yourself in a niche that can't afford your service right off the bat. A year down the line, 2 years down the line, maybe even 6 months down the line, you'll be really frustrated with the people you're working with because you'll constantly find they don't have the money. They have to ask their parents. They have to ask their spouse. And it just makes the whole process a lot more difficult for you. There are a lot more roadblocks in you getting more clients. All right. So these are the exact steps I took to get my business off the ground. High value service, get less clients to the door, but give them more and more value. And then have them start their business, have them really get their business off the ground where they can make money working part-time and making a full-time income. That's what I do. This is what I do for a living. I make YouTube videos and I go for a run and I make LinkedIn live streams and then I do whatever else, right? I don't work a 9-to-5 job. Of course, when you're starting a business, there's a lot that goes into starting that business, but eventually you come to a point where you're working part-time. You don't have to do this all day, every day. You've got a lot of spare time to think, and you're only focusing on the coaching side of things. Everything else is taken care of. There's systems that we have in place. So that's what I recommend doing if you're starting your business. Now, if you do want step-by-step hand-holding instructions, you want to be a part of our community, you want to be a part of all the coaches that I've helped and just follow a step-by-step pattern of how to get your business off the ground, or maybe you do have a business and you just want to increase the amount of money, you want to raise your prices, just DM me, let's go, and I'd be more than happy to learn about your business and what you want to do to see if this might be a good fit. Okay. So every single week, I'm going to be doing a live stream like this at this time. Let me know in the comments if this has been helpful for you. If it has, also let me know what would you like to see in future live streams, because I want to address the questions that you have for your coaching business, whatever it might be. I'm a big believer in giving as much as possible so that you feel like you have enough to work with. On top of that, I'd like to invite you to my free mastermind coaching group where I do live sessions even longer, even more in depth about similar topics, about your specific questions. So if you want to invite to that again, drop me a DM or drop a comment down below saying group, and I will send you an invite to that. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on my first live stream. If you enjoyed this, please show me some support. Let me know this was helpful. Give it a like, give it a comment, whatever. And also check out my YouTube channel. I've got a ton of videos over there as well, including how to launch your business, how to find your first 10 clients, how to make your first 10K, all of those things. You can check those out. More than happy to talk to you more about it, guys. So thanks a lot for tuning in. I will see you next week, Wednesday at 2 o'clock PST. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.